that up just a second because there's no immediate, like, this is the restaurant I'm going to buy. I am working on something right now. Probably isn't going to work out, but I, in the future, am going to own my own restaurant. So that means that I have to kind of reassess my priorities in life, as many of us do at different points. And it means that there's some things that I wanted to do on the channel that are no, it's just not going to happen anymore. So let me discuss that. First of all, I'm going to, even if this situation that I'm working on right now were to work out, and I bought this specific restaurant that I want, I am not going to put myself in a position to where I'm working 80 hours a week on my business and not having time for leisure time. And part of my leisure time will be absolutely 100% will be working on my YouTube channel. That is just kind of something that I enjoy doing, and it's something I will continue to do. With that being said, uh, I have to start jamming on getting my finances together. And part of that, it means that I am not going to have time to do a lot of the really tough parts of doing a YouTube channel, the editing, the looking for sources, the really not doing a whole lot of research and development and stuff like that. But the live stuff, the stuff that I've wanted to do since the very beginning, that stuff I'm going to not only continue to do, but I'm going to double down on that because that's ultimately when I started this channel, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do things where I'm out there and, oh, hold on just a second, where I'm discussing things, discussing Star Wars, discussing life with other people, and having more of a discussion type show. I kind of got into a trap though, where I started live streaming, Battlefront 2, which I will continue to do. But let's be real here. I'm not the greatest gamer. I'm never gonna be the greatest gamer. And there's times where I'm doing it, and I'm doing it almost as a because I feel like I have to, not because I want to. And I think that's an important thing in life is that, unless if you're getting paid and paid well, find something you're passionate about and make sure that it's something that you actually enjoy doing. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting your time. And I fully believe that. I think a lot of people have this where they're committed to something and they'll just continue working on it even after they've have data or reasons to be able to look at it and say this isn't what I should be doing. They'll have this commitment to something that it doesn't make sense to commit to anymore. I mean, they gave it an honest try. And I think that if it's something you truly enjoy, and if you can look at the ends and say this is something realistic, and you know, I think that then you can go through some of the hard times. But if there's something, I guess it comes down to this opportunity cost. And if you don't know what opportunity cost is saying, if I'm doing this, I can't do that. And is that I can't do something that has more value? And for me, when I look at it and my truly what I want to do, what I really enjoy doing, which is the conversational style type things, the live discussing, going into and answering things in chat, that type of stuff, the sitting there making videos of the top five best this, top five best Jedi, the stuff like that. The opportunity cost is that I have less time to do this. I have less time to source out co-hosts, which is something that I'm really going to be working on. It also means that I have less time to work in the job that actually pays me and get my finances in order so that I can purchase my restaurant because that ultimately is the goal. If I look at my life 5 years from now, and the perfect situation would be that I have a restaurant that I use my leadership skills to be able to get people running it to where I can be more in a hey, what's up, eat my bullets. So to where I could be in more of a overseer role, I can be the figurehead, and I can focus on creating leaders within the company. But then I also have this other company off the side, which is a media company, where I also focus on leadership because that's one of my passions. And I want to talk about leadership here real quick because I think you can really relate this back to Star Wars a little bit. That sometimes the details, when you're too focused on details, leadership suffers. And what I mean by that is that there, there's two different things. If you look at leadership and management, even though they're both important and you need them both, they're kind of on different sides of a I can't even think of the word for it. They're not opposites, but they're on opposite ends of a spectrum, I guess. And in a lot of situations, when you go, the more leadership you focus on, sometimes the more the details, which is the management, gets kind of put to the side. And, and at the same time, sometimes when you focus so much on micromanaging and the details, the leadership suffers. And because of the fact that a lot of businesses nowadays are so intent on eking every penny out of profit, there's such a focus on the details that they're not really developing leaders. And you really, leadership means that you're getting people to do things because they want to, and you get them to the point where they want to by instilling values in them, by focusing on the values, on the spirit of why you're doing what you're doing. You focus on that, and then they do things. They don't do things exactly the way you would. And this is where the key thing is, where I think a lot of people really struggle with developing leaders is, and I've heard a lot of business owners that I've talked to say, I can't find any good help. And I talk to them, and they're like, what do you mean? He's like, well, no matter who I hire, they don't do things the way that I do them. And I'm like, and I'm sitting here, it's like, then you're gonna fail. You're always gonna fail. You are never going to find anybody to take some of the stress off of you because your goal is to have them do things exactly the way that you want them done, not in the spirit of how you want them done. And so, in an example is when I was a general manager of a restaurant about 10 years ago, I was more focused on these are the things that I want. I want great food. I want it hot. I want it fast. I want amazing service. I want to be able to walk through that dining room, and I want to be able to hear uh, a bunch of different people tell me that it was the best experience they had. Like, not every table, because some people just don't even think in those terms, but every time I walk in the dining room, I want to hear those words. And I want to have the reputation of the best service in town. Those are the things that I instilled in my people. How they made that happen, I didn't care. Yes, their details were important. Management was important because you had to make sure that they were following recipes. You had to make sure that that brisket sandwich tasted the same every single time. How they made that happen, though, leadership is about making them want to make the food fast and hot. It's about making them want to give the best service possible. And I think if we're going back to the Jedi, obviously, hello, Devin, how's it going? If we're going back to the Jedi and where the Jedi Order was towards the end, one of the things I look at is they talk about how they want to avoid the dark side. So they have these really strict rules on how they're going to avoid it. And instead of keeping somebody like Anakin from falling to the dark side, it helped facilitate him falling to the dark side. They were so worried about the attachment issues that they weren't willing to kind of look at it and say, you know what, maybe we should, not be so strict with this and actually work with our Jedi that do have some attachment issues and not just say, get rid of that, stop being attached to them, stop caring. You can't have relationships, stuff like that. But instead, they could have been working with them on their mental health and making them better. If they would have worked with Anakin and helped him deal with those issues of attachment, he wouldn't have fallen to the dark side. And them worrying too much on the management end and not enough on the leadership end is part of the reasons why the Jedi Order fell. And it really is, the funny thing is that Qui-Gon Jinn, had he lived, was a leader. He looked more at the big picture, which was the will of the Force, and less about the actual details attached to that. For instance, Anakin technically was too old to train. Well, in the spirit of what you're looking for, which is in the Jedi Order, there shouldn't be such a thing as too old to train. There shouldn't be a number. There shouldn't be an age where they say you're too old. But going back to why I'm doing this video, so a lot less. I'm not going to be doing videos specifically on my favorite this or that. I'm not going to be doing reaction videos. I will do specific topics, but when I do those would be those would be taken from within the live videos that I do, and there'll be sections that I'll cut into videos that will specifically talk about things. So I might get on a show and have a guest on, and we might discuss our top 5 favorite Jedi, and that might be part of that show, and I just cut that out and then release that as a video, and that's why I'll do those things. I know we are going to be doing another, because I want to do a top 5 favorites lightsaber duels, and we kind of talked about that in a video I did earlier, but the audio on it just didn't work out well. So I'm going to redo that probably in another show, try to get a couple people on. One is my co-host of Order 77, Amadeus, who's going to be a consistent co-host on that. So that's how, and I'm going to be streaming Battlefront 2 a lot less. I probably won't be streaming Smite much. I'll probably go back to mostly streaming Battlefront 2, but it's just not going to be as long, or it's not going to happen as often. I'm also going to be talking about some of the resources that I've used, and I'm going to do a video specifically on, or I'm going to do a live stream where I talk about the resources I've used to help me on my journey to having some better mental health, getting my finances in better shape, and really changing my relationship with money. And in the links below, I have some books that I've actually read, and not only read, but I fully felt them, and they were very important. One is Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. It's about having a new relationship with money, not getting out of the hedonistic treadmill that causes us to just purchase stuff to try to be happy, which is something I've done in the past. I've got Recovery, Freedom from Your Addictions by Russell Brand, which is another. It's about relationships with things in your life, and whether it's alcohol, drugs, spending, sex, whatever it is, people have addictions to things, and it's not those things specifically that are the problem. It's their relationship with them and the fact that they take them to such extremes that becomes a problem. And then the last one is Learn Optimism, How to Change Your Mind and Your Life by Martin Seligman. This is a key one. Learning how to be optimistic about things has been a very important thing for me. And I'll be honest with you, I probably need to go back and read that one again. I'm probably back at that point in life where pessimism is starting to creep up just a little bit. So I need to go back and read that. But anyways, that's what I have for today, where I'm going to find, I almost said I'm going to attempt to find. No, I'm going to find some co-hosts to do these shows on. Take a Breath is going to be just that. It's going to be just a show. It's going to be talking about life, and that's hopefully as we grow this, we'll have more of you in chat, kind of asking questions. We're not therapists. We can't give you that type of advice, but we can kind of give you something from our life experiences that maybe could help you navigate some of your life too. So that's all I got today. May the force be with you.